This second story you also probably know. You might not recognize it at first. His mom was a coach, but she never coached him. He would kick a ball around with her when he learned to walk. As a boy, he played squash with his father on Sundays. He dabbled in skiing, wrestling, swimming, and skateboarding. He played basketball, handball, tennis, table tennis, badminton over his neighbor's fence, and soccer at school. He would later give credit to the wide range of sports he played for helping him develop his athleticism and hand-eye coordination. He found that the sport really didn't matter much, so long as it included a ball. "I was always very much more interested if a ball was involved," he would remember. He was a kid who loved to play. His parents had no particular athletic aspirations for him. "We had no plan A, no plan B," his mother would later say. She and the boy's father encouraged him to sample a wide array of sports. In fact, it was essential. The boy became unbearable, his mother said, if he had to stay still for too long. Though his mother taught tennis, she decided against working with him. "He would have just upset me anyway," she said. "He tried out every strange stroke and certainly never returned a ball normally. That is simply no fun for a mother." Rather than pushy, a Sports Illustrated writer would observe that his parents were, if anything, pulley. Nearing his teens, the boy began to gravitate more toward tennis, and, if they nudged him at all, it was to stop taking tennis so seriously. When he played matches, his mother often wandered away to chat with friends. His father had only one rule: just don't cheat. He didn't, and he started getting really good. As a teenager, he was good enough to warrant an interview with the local newspaper. His mother was appalled to read that, when asked what he would buy with a hypothetical first paycheck from playing tennis, her son answered, "A Mercedes." She was relieved when the reporter let her listen to a recording of the interview, and they realized there'd been a mistake. The boy had said Mercedes in Swiss German. He simply wanted more CDs. The boy was competitive, no doubt, but when his tennis instructors decided to move him up to a group with older players, he asked to move back so he could stay with his friends. After all, part of the fun was hanging around after his lessons to gab about music or pro wrestling or soccer. By the time he finally gave up other sports, soccer most notably, to focus on tennis, other kids had long since been working with strength coaches, sports psychologists, and nutritionists. But it didn't seem to hamper his development in the long run. In his mid-30s, an age by which even legendary tennis players are typically retired, he would still be ranked number 1 in the world. In 2006, Tiger Woods and Roger Federer met for the first time, when both were at the apex of their powers. Tiger flew in on his private jet to watch the final of the U.S. Open. It made Federer especially nervous, but he still won, for the 3rd year in a row. Woods joined him in the locker room for a champagne celebration. They connected as only they could. "I've never spoken with anybody who was so familiar with the feeling of being invincible," Federer would later describe it. They quickly became friends, as well as focal points of a debate over who was the most dominant athlete in the world. Still, the contrast was not lost on Federer. "His story is completely different from mine," he told a biographer in 2006. "Even as a kid, his goal was to break the record for winning the most majors. I was just dreaming of just once meeting Boris Becker or being able to play at Wimbledon sometime." It seems pretty unusual for a child with pulley parents, and who first took his sport lightly, to grow into a man who dominates it like no one before him. Unlike Tiger, thousands of kids, at least, had a head start on Roger. Tiger's incredible upbringing has been at the heart of a batch of best-selling books on the development of expertise, one of which was a parenting manual written by Tiger's father, Earl. Tiger was not merely playing golf. He was engaging in deliberate practice, the only kind that counts in the now ubiquitous 10,000 hours rule to expertise.